The Howling 3, The Marsupials, is strange. I wouldn't call it a good movie, but I actually kinda like it. It's such a bizarre flick that manages to hit some notes with its absurdity that neither of the first two could, despite the second one trying. We follow an anthropologist named Harry who has acquired footage from the early 20th century Australia, filmed by one of his relatives who went missing shortly after the recording, showing people sacrificing a werewolf. With this and the news of a potential werewolf incident in Siberia, Harry tries to warn the US president, who doesn't believe him, but he goes back to Australia where the rest of the film is set. Here we meet Jerboa, a woman from a small werewolf colony who leaves tired of her stepfather, Philo, who would sexually abuse her. He is followed by 3 of her sisters who are dressed as nuns. They want to take her back to be Philo's mate, but before that can happen, she is found by a young American named Donnie who is looking for someone to cast in a schlocky horror movie he's a crew member for. They begin seeing each other romantically, and she confesses to him that she's a werewolf, but he doesn't really believe her at first, but eventually comes around after noticing the fur. After shooting the movie, strobe lights trigger a transformation for Jerboa, which causes her to flee and get hit by a car. While at the hospital, doctors notice her unusual anatomy and that she's pregnant. She has a marsupial pouch and the fur pattern of a thylacine. But soon after, she's found by her sisters who take her back to the small town called Flo, or Wolf backwards. Around this time, Harry, the anthropologist, is seeing a ballet where the lead dancer, Olga, winds up transforming, so she's captured and taken to a lab where she escapes and goes to Flo to be with Philo. The government, now aware of werewolf, decide to invade their town. Harry talks his superior into capturing Olga the dancer and Philo alive so that they can be studied. Here, Harry begins to fall in love with Olga and decides to help her escape. They decide to escape into the outback where they find more werewolves just trying to survive, including Jerboa, Donnie, and the baby. I don't want to give away the rest of the film, but I enjoy it. It's the first film in the series to make the werewolves the sympathetic characters. In the first 2 films, we feel the sense that they're a dying breed just trying to survive, but never do they do much to try and make you feel sympathy for them. They're just monsters in those movies. But here we travel with and get to know many werewolf characters. This movie is strange and a little all over the place, but without a doubt is the best of the franchise so far. 4 out of 10. I know the score doesn't seem very high, but it's what I give to movies that I think are technically bad but enjoyable. If you had to check out one of these movies, maybe it should be this one.